Let's be real. Every organization today is practically drowning in raw, chaotic data. The biggest challenge? It's turning that absolute mess into a golden asset. So today, we're going to walk through the blueprint for doing exactly that.
You know, a lot of folks in the data world know this feeling all too well. You've got this massive data lake, right? But when you actually try to use it, it feels like you're lost, wading through a murky, disorganized swamp. We call this a data swamp, and it's a huge problem that makes your data pretty much worthless.
So if your data is lost in that swamp, what's the fix? Well, the idea is actually pretty simple. We need to give it a map, a really clear, structured path to follow. And in the data world, that map has a name, the Medallion Architecture.
Okay, so let's just get this straight. Without a solid plan, a data lake almost always turns into a data swamp. It's a universal challenge, for sure. And the industry standard solution, the framework that keeps all that chaos at bay, is the Medallion Architecture.
So what is this thing really? At its heart, the Medallion Architecture is a design pattern. You can think of it like a three-step blueprint for organizing your data. Its whole purpose is to take that raw data and just progressively make it better, improving its structure and its quality as it moves through a few logical layers.
To really get a feel for how this works, we're going to follow the data on its journey. It's this three-step path that takes information from its most raw, messy state all the way to something that's refined and ready for real, actionable insights. And our journey starts right here, at the bronze layer. This is the landing zone. All the data comes in and is kept in its original, completely untouched format. I'm talking raw API dumps, CSV files, server logs, whatever it is, exactly as it came from the source. This layer becomes your permanent historical archive. Next up, the data moves to the silver layer. Now this is where the magic really starts to happen. We validate the data, we clean it up, get rid of duplicates, and we shape everything into a consistent, reliable structure. It's right here, at this point, that the data becomes truly queryable and trustworthy for the very first time.
And finally, the data arrives at its destination, the gold layer. This is the finished product. Here, all that clean data from the silver layer gets aggregated and shaped into models that are perfectly optimized for business analytics. You know, things like fact and dimension tables that power all your dashboards, your reports, and even machine learning. So, here it is, the whole flow, nice and simple. It's a totally logical progression, right? From raw and unchanged in bronze to cleaned and standardized in silver, and finally to analytics ready in gold. This simple three-step process is what's going to keep you out of that data swamp. Okay, so you might be wondering, where does this whole journey actually happen? Well, it all takes place in a modern data environment that we call the Lakehouse. This platform is what makes the entire Medallion pattern not just possible, but powerful.
A lakehouse is basically a hybrid. It gives you the absolute best of both worlds. You get the massive, super low-cost, flexible storage of a data lake, but you combine that with the reliability and structure you'd normally only find in a traditional data warehouse. It's all in one unified system.
And the features the Lakehouse brings to the table are incredibly powerful. It supports ACID transactions, which is just a fancy way of saying your data operations are reliable and won't get corrupted. It enforces quality with schemas, and get this, it even lets you time travel to look at older versions of your data. The bottom line? You can run both your business intelligence and your AI on the exact same copy of the data. No more silos.
Now, this whole architecture is powered by some really amazing open-source technologies. You've probably heard these names before. You've got Delta Lake, which came from Databricks, Apache Hudi, which was originally built at Uber, and Apache Iceberg, which got its start at Netflix. And look, while they each have their own little strengths, they all provide the core features you need to build a really robust lakehouse. Okay, so this isn't just some abstract theory. The Medallion Lakehouse is a practical, real-world blueprint that's used every single day by the biggest cloud providers out there. So let's take a quick look at what this actually looks like on AWS, Azure, and GCP. First up, on AWS. A really common setup uses S3 for that raw bronze layer storage. Then, you'll use tools like AWS Glue or Spark running on EMR to handle that transformation into the silver layer. And finally, that gold layer is often served up by a service like Amazon Redshift for super fast analytics.
Now, let's hop over to Azure. The pattern is exactly the same, it just uses different service names. Data lands in Azure Data Lake Storage for your bronze layer. Then, something like Azure Databricks or Synapse Analytics crunches it into silver. And that gold layer gets served up by Synapse SQL pools, which you can then visualize with Power BI. See? Same idea.
And to round out our tour, on Google Cloud, you'll see Google Cloud Storage for bronze. You'll use Dataflow or Dataproc for that silver transformation, and then the powerhouse service BigQuery serves up that gold layer for all your analysis and AI. The pattern is just incredibly flexible.
All right, so we've covered the what and the how. Let's talk about the why, because the real goal here, the big payoff, is to build a platform that's not just useful for today's reports, but one that is truly future-proof and ready for the demands of AI and machine learning.
And to get there, you've got to follow some crucial best practices. You need things like schema evolution to handle data that changes over time. You should be partitioning your data for faster queries. And, of course, implementing role-based access for security. Things like tracking data lineage and automating your metadata are also absolutely key for a scalable, well-governed platform.
But if there is one golden rule you need to remember from all of this, it is this: keep the bronze layer immutable. That means you never, ever change the raw data. This is your ground truth. It's your permanent archive. Why? Because it guarantees you can always go back and reprocess your entire pipeline if you find a bug or decide to change your logic later on. It's a lifesaver.
And you can see right here how the Lakehouse directly sets you up for AI success. For instance, if you need a reproducibility for your models, which you do, the Lakehouse gives you that with version tables and that awesome time travel feature. If you need feature consistency, you can build a feature store right on top of it. The whole system is just designed for this from the ground up.
So look, if there's one thing you take away from this whole explainer, it's this. A Medallion Lakehouse is, by its very nature, a machine learning-ready architecture. It's not an add-on or an afterthought. It is part of the foundational design.
So why does all of this matter? It matters because this pattern has become the backbone of pretty much every modern data platform. It's how you guarantee data quality and governance. It's how you can finally power both your traditional BI and your advanced AI from a single, unified, and truly future-proof system.
So we've laid out the map. We've shown you the golden path for your data. The journey from a messy swamp to a refined, valuable asset is clear. The only question left is, what are you going to build with it?